Welcome. This is the 2026 Season 2 Week 12 Strength of Field race for the Mustang GT4 Challenge Series at Lime Rock Park. The SOF here is 26:48, a bit lower than some previous SOF races as a few of the regulars were absent, but it's still a really strong field for the series. This has been my first season racing the car and I've really enjoyed driving it over the last few months, especially the Monday night SOF races. This is also my first time recording commentary for an iRacing video, and I'm doing it a few days later in post, so feel free to critique me in the comments both for my driving and videography. So, just getting into qualifying here. I totally botched lap 1. It cost myself more than half a second just in the left-hander, driving it in too deep and sliding the rear, getting offline. So, in my mind, I'm just taking lap 2 a bit more conservatively. I just need to get a banker in. If I'm stuck with a 56.3, I'm starting near last in this field, which is just not the place to be at Lime Rock in a 15-minute race. I brake way too early and turn in too early here in the chicane and hit the curb. Probably cost myself a tenth and a half. As well, going into West Bend, I basically make the same mistake. Too much brake, turn in a bit too early, kind of kill my entry to the corner. I get through the downhill pretty well, but coming to the line, I'm not sure where I'm going to end up. I pull up the times, quickly calculate in my head I'm going to be about third place for now. And indeed, third place is where I end up starting for this session. If you're not the pole sitter, third place is a totally fine starting position. It can be difficult if you're starting outside front row, especially me driving on a single monitor. I've got to keep glancing to the right to see when the leader goes. At least as the inside car on the second row, I can just closely follow Kyle behind and just try to get a good launch as soon as he goes. This is kind of a funny time of day for a race at Lime Rock Park. The in-stim green flag time is 7:25 p.m., which is way later than they would ever start a race at Lime Rock in real life. The headlights should almost come on by the end of this race. The lighting changes quite a bit. It gets kind of dark. So I apologize if anything is a bit difficult to see on the recording. Coming to the start, again, I'm just trying to follow Kyle closely and get a good launch.
Get ready, going green.
His car does a little swerve and then goes into the pits.
The pace car is in.
Okay, we go and get a better launch than Kevin actually, but I'm not really looking to send it too deep into turn 1. Really trying to keep it on the inside here and use the curbs. Kevin does well to keep up momentum on the outside. I do pull about half a car length ahead, but there's no way to make the pass stick, especially being on the outside of the left-hander on lap 1. I still had my the memory of my mistake from lap 1 qualifying in my head, so I back off and fall in line. They're single file behind me too, so no need to defend into the chicane. Happy to just kind of slot into third and let the race come to me. Kevin blinks out here, which really spooked me in the moment. I kind of hesitated to get back on the throttle. Again, this is one of my first times recording a race, so I wasn't sure if it was an internet or computer problem on my end, but everything seemed to stabilize rather quickly, so I had to kind of forget that, just get back in the zone and start turning some laps. I knew by looking at the entry list for this race that it would be second place at best for me. Kyle is an absolute alien. He's going to win the championship for this series this season. I was looking at his onboard in the practice session before this race. He was consistently 3 to 4 tenths of a second per lap faster than me. A lot to learn, even on such a short track that I've done thousands of laps at. Kevin pushes a bit wide here in the chicane. Already, less than 2 laps in, Kyle has pulled 2 seconds on me and has broken the draft range from Kevin. So, in my mind, I'm just hoping I can stay close enough to Kevin where we could potentially draft away from 4th and 5th place and make it a 2-car battle for second. It's really important to not overdrive in the beginning of these races. Even though they're only 15 minutes long, it's really easy to put too much heat in the tires, and once that happens, you're either sliding around too much on exit, or you just can't brake and turn. Kevin did go a bit wide in Big Bend, or at least wider than I had been going. I find it advantageous to keep it really tight. And again, he pushes a bit wide into the chicane. So I'm just trying to suss out the parts of the track where I'm a bit faster than him and can potentially make a move. It's a really difficult track to pass, especially in the GP layout. He goes a bit wide into West Bend there. It's not going to help me make a pass this lap, but again, it's another thing that's in my mind. If I can get a better run through there and through the downhill, it could set me up into turn one. The draft isn't crazy in these cars, but you know, if you get up to the back bumper of someone coming out of the downhill, you have a chance into turn one. Keith ended up getting by Landon that last lap in the S's, so we've pulled about a second and a half at this point. I'm closing up really closely to Kevin. I want him to clean it up and make good lap time, so again, we can pull away from 4th place. But I know I'm faster, so I don't want him to suddenly find a bunch of pace and pull away from me. He keeps it a bit tighter in the chicane there, but I still get a better launch through the uphill and a better run through West Bend. But there's just no way I have enough momentum here to try to force a pass yet. I've got to be really selective when I go for it, or else we're going to allow Keith to close up really quickly. He goes a bit wide in Big Bend. The important thing to do when you're following someone closely and can't pass like this is just to make sure you're saving your tires. Of course, I could be braking later and getting right up to his bumper in pretty much every corner, but that would kill my fronts. And if I don't make the pass, I definitely won't be able to later in the race. I noticed Keith getting a bit closer behind me. He's less than a second now, so we've lost time there.
55.332. That was your fastest lap of the session.
Kevin goes way deep into turn one, and I kind of give it a half look, but the gap wasn't there for me. I had to get back on the brakes kind of heavy and got into ABS, which isn't ideal, but we've got a few more tenths closer just from that move alone. Kevin again goes wide, but there's just no way I can get a good run through this part of the track, even from a mistake like that. This is my best chance at the race so far coming out of the downhill, but he goes defensive. The outside can work in turn one, but it's a dangerous spot to put yourself in. If the inside car runs just a little bit wide and you get even light contact, you know, there's not much grip there and you'll lose everything if you go into the grass. I give him a little bit of a bump in the corner. I know he knows that I'm there. We've raced together many times in this series and others over the years, so I think we trust each other pretty well. Get another good run in the uphill, but it's just not long enough of a braking zone into West Bend. Kind of parks it on the apex there. At this point, Keith is firmly into the battle for second place. It's a 3-car race for second. I'm thinking that I have to get by Kevin as soon as possible. He goes defensive again. Kind of show the nose into turn one, and he gives me a lane, but I was already so deep into ABS into the corner that if I tried to go in further, I'm understeering probably into the side of his car. Trying to hold it on the outside, but yeah, kind of relinquish the position and fall in line. Not trying to fall back into 4th place. So yeah, and he goes wide again. You know, at this point, Kyle, if he hadn't checked out already, he's now 5 seconds ahead. Landon is closing up from 5th place. it's turning into a real race for sure. Checking lap times at the line, it was a 55.9 that last lap, and a 55.9 just barely this lap. I was running 55.3s and 4s in practice, so we're a bit slow on the long run. Glare is totally blinding for this one moment. Just trying to keep it tight through the S's. Kevin gets a good run through the right-hander, but again going into the chicane, he pushes deep. Actually makes a huge mistake here. Gives me the inside, so going into West Bend, someplace where I never thought I'd have the opportunity to make a pass, we're side by side. Take a bit too much curb, can't clear him out of the corner, so we're going to be side by side going through the diving turn. Can't tell how far he is off my left side, so I give him room. I can hear he's still there. Would love to have a second monitor to the left or a radar so I could know how much room there is. Thankfully Keith backs off and doesn't force it through wide into Big Bend. Kevin is still on my outside here. I can't quite clear him coming out of the corner. I'm on the outside going into the left-hander. We make super light contact, but I slide wide. Try to keep it straight, but Keith is able to slot into third place, so despite having the best chance to make a pass during the race yet, I lose a position. Kevin pushes deep again into the chicane. This time it's Keith who gets a run. I have a big moment going up the hill, so just trying to, get my bearings back here. Had a chance to go on the inside of Keith, but I didn't want to put myself in the position that I was last lap and potentially lose out more. Landon and Weston have closed up really close, so this is now a 5-car battle for second place.
56.931.
Yeah, knowing that this is only a 15-minute race, there's only 17 laps, so running out of time to make a move. Having had a big slide in the last lap, the tires are hot. Just don't have the grip to keep up with these guys through the S's. So I'm trying to cool down the tires and protect fourth place at least. A little bit frustrating knowing that I'm faster than Kevin, but I don't know if I'm faster than Keith. Potentially Keith could get by Kevin, he could disappear, and I could be stuck behind Kevin again. Almost throw it away by running wide coming out of West Bend, but we keep it on track. Weston behind pulls into the pits that lap. He picked up suspension damage on the last red curb in the chicane. Not being as familiar with Keith's driving, I'm not sure how aggressively he is going to play this. Interesting to note that coming into this race, Weston had pretty much secured Division II championship for the series. Keith and I are actually battling for second place. With drop weeks coming into this event, I'm actually ahead of him by just 1 or 2 points, but in my mind I'm thinking that I can't let him get a higher points finish than me. You can really see how they're able to pull through the high-speed corners because I just don't have the grip to keep up.
55.707.
At this point, I'm just sliding the car around. I'm thinking that for my next race, I really just need to qualify better. Kevin again goes deep into the chicane. Keith looks really strong through that part of the track. I'm trying to pressure Keith into making a move, but there's only so much I can do at this point. We're able to close up really well in Big Bend, but through the S's I just can't get as good of a run through the right-hander. Kevin a bit slow on the exit, but not enough for Keith to consider making a move. Kevin goes a little defensive there. I'm checking the time to see if we're having 3 or 2 laps left. Looks like it's 3 laps left, including this one. Again, we're drifting coming out of the first corner. They both make a mistake in the chicane that time. Keith a bit wide in West Bend. 2 to go coming to the line this time.
Yep.
Landon goes wide behind us, so I'm feeling 0 pressure from behind.
55.493.
Them lights ain't gonna work first. You're gonna have to work for it, my man.
You can't quite tell, but it's really dark at this point. Driving on an HDR monitor, my screen is... it's almost like driving at night. I was kind of worried about picking up suspension damage by hitting that left side curb, but car's still straight. Starting the last lap here, we're in 4th place. Really hoping that there's some action for 2nd place that we can take advantage of. Keith is able to close right up to him in the beginning sector. We have another big slide in the left-hander. Kevin goes a little deep into the chicane again. Keith gets a better run. And Kevin actually goes defensive into West Bend. So Keith has to try to make it work around the outside. Can't do it. I close up. I'm not sure what to do here. They're going side by side into the diving turn. The gap opens up for me on the inside. I get by Keith. I get to the side of Kevin. We're coming to the line. Make some side-to-side contact, but he just gets me by 0.01 seconds.
Fantastic racing, guys.
Yep, so looking at the results there, 3rd place, great battle. I mean, we were 10 seconds off of Kyle, but yeah, super fun race throughout. I think I could have qualified better and maybe driven away. We had pace, but yeah, really exactly what this series is all about, the close quarters racing. Yeah, everyone kept it really clean. Here's how the final lap looked from the outboard perspective. Didn't really think I had any chance to pass either of them with a few laps to go. I knew it was going to take some kind of move like this. Keith had really no other option there than to try to go outside, and he definitely lost out here. I really didn't have to hit the brakes in the diving turn, but I thought I was going to maybe run over Kevin. If I stayed in it, maybe I would have had the momentum to get him. But yeah, great finish. Here's how it looked at the line. Super fun race. Here's the results. Thanks for watching.